or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. Medicare annual enrollment ends December 7th. Find a plan that's right for you at walgreens.com/Medicare.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Give the gift of play with the team at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. Stop in and stock up on a huge selection of new and gently used gear and equipment. Maybe you need some cash for the holidays. If you have too many bikes, inline skates, hockey, or other sports gear that you don't use anymore or it doesn't fit, get cash on the spot for your unused gear at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. They have the trained staff to help you sell your gear and help you find the perfect gift for the holidays, like a new baseball bat, lacrosse stick, yoga and workout gear, or equipment for a home gym. Or maybe you're like me and you love perusing golf clubs. Go check out what they have in their used inventory. I'm always in the Hendersonville store checking out their used golf clubs. So get cash for your holiday gifts when you sell your gear at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. And make sure to tell them Zach from Nashville Sports Radio sent you. That's Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios. Just a bit outside. It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure Hotline at 615-844-5600.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Friday afternoon to you. And yes, it is time for the McFarland Show here on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. Darren and Justin here with you. Devlin McKenzie. So I can't say same game parlay. For some reason, I keep saying straight. I don't know why. I know Devlin's name.
Okay.
And yet I'm questioning if I said his name right. I know what a same game parlay is, but yet I say straight. So I don't know what's going on, Justin. I'm all out of sorts.
I'm glad you know what a same day parlay is, because I don't.
No, it's not a same day parlay. It's the same game parlay.
Same game parlay. Well, that's good, because now I totally don't know what that means either. So that's fine. And that's fine. That's why there's two of us here. It's okay.
So you're going to help me with city stuff. Okay,
which I have.
We'll have that generic folder, city stuff.
And
I'm here to help you with Preds and gambling.
Sure, okay? Absolutely, because I do not understand either one of those things very well, no.
Well, look, help me help you.
Absolutely, sir.
Okay, and you help me help you.
That's what we're here for.
Okay, something like that. I was trying to quote Jerry Maguire and work it into the show, but I don't know if it worked or not.
Okay.
Last night, impressive. We talked all day yesterday. We didn't really know how last night was going to play out. We really didn't. We didn't have a strong feeling one way there. Is that fair to say?
No, we had no idea.
We were like, Titans could win? Sure.
Absolutely.
Could the Packers win? Sure.
Absolutely.
I kind of felt like it wasn't going to be a blowout either way.
Yeah.
That I felt pretty good about. I mean, the Titans' defense is too good for a game to get sideways. And Green Bay isn't good enough. This Green Bay team isn't good enough to get sideways.
No.
You know, right? Get somebody off the rails. So I felt like it was going to be a good game, but I just wasn't sure how the outcome was going to be. I will say this. With that being said, as I sit here today to open up Friday's show, I am surprised it was a Titans victory, dare I say, in domination fashion. I think they dominated Green Bay. I really do.
Yeah.
I know you're like 27-17. Dominated. What?
It really wasn't. No,
they
close.
Dominated.
It really wasn't that close.
Did you ever get the feeling Green Bay was going to win? I'm just saying right now, I did. I never got the feeling Green Bay was going to win that game. I felt like the Titans were in control.
There was a moment. Let me tell you what.
Tell me the moment.
Let me tell you what it is. It wasn't that I thought Green Bay was going to win the game ever. There was a moment when I thought Green Bay had the opportunity and was going to make a play and make the Titans do something to win the game, if you understand what I mean. The Titans, jumped out to the early lead. I thought at certain points, this is the drive right here. This is the play right here when Aaron Rodgers goes back and does the Aaron Rodgers thing, and the Packers are going to go up. Sort of like he did with the touchdown, with the gimme touchdown there, to put them on the board. Things like that are what he's kind of known to do, and I thought, okay, he's about to do the thing. Any second now, he's going to turn it on, and Superman's going to fly around the building here like he always does, and, we're going to be in trouble here as far as getting a win. And it just never happened. So did I ever think the Packers were going to win? It's strong. But there were moments I thought, you know what? He's about to do it. And then he didn't do it. Crucial third downs, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 7, just incomplete. It looked strange.
Who was it that was what? Was it Lazard? I don't remember. Who was
Lazard.
Wide open?
Lazard,
Aaron Rodgers has hit that pass
in his sleep
9.5 out of 10 times his whole career.
In his sleep.
I don't want to say 10 out of 10 because that's just not true. But how about 9.5 times?
No warm up
out
in
of 10.
Sleep.
Yeah, and just missed him by a mile. But what you just described is a game getting hairy.
Yeah.
You didn't say the Titans were in danger of losing, or the Packers were in danger of winning.
No.
You basically described a game that was going to get hairy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, again, then you're with me. I never felt like the Titans were going to lose. It didn't feel like that was a game that was going to get away from them. It didn't feel like the Packers were playing catch up all night. And let me just say this. For what you just described, remember, I'm going to have troubles today. Clearly, okay. I can't talk.
You need some peanut butter?
No, I just had a peanut butter and chocolate smoothie. So
you had a smoothie. Huh?
So I had peanut butter in there.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going on, man. Just bear with me.
No problem.
And if I just keep fumbling around,
it's fine.
You'll have to talk more.
It's fine.
Okay. In fact, you and Devlin. And maybe I'll just sit out a segment.
It's okay.
Clear my head. I don't know.
Whatever you need, man. We're here for you.
You described an Aaron Rodgers guy that wears a cape. And he's worn a cape his whole career.
Yes.
But if you've watched him this season, the cape is lost. Okay, the cape is somewhere in Lambeau. I don't know if it's buried under the field. It's kind of like Hoffa. I don't know if it's buried somewhere. I don't know if it's in a suitcase. I don't know if it's in a locker in another building on their campus. But if you've watched Aaron Rodgers this year, there's really no cape.
No.
He is not the Aaron Rodgers we've been watching all year.
That much became very clear last night. Watching, and I myself and my father, who is a massive Chicago Bears fan, will tell you that I will clown him every single year. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means I will make fun of him. I will poke fun at my father every single year when he gets his hopes up that the Bears are going to beat the Packers. And I keep telling him, the problem is you guys don't have Superman on your team. The Packers do. Last night, what we saw wasn't even close to that guy. And it wasn't just the arm or the accuracy either. He was less active in the pocket. He didn't move around like he is known to move around to create the extra time and space for himself. He wasn't directing traffic. He didn't do any of that. He just seemed grumpy and frustrated most of the night.
Yeah. Which, again, if you've watched the Packers this season, that's been him most of the year. Or all the year. He really has. I mean, they were on the heels of a comeback win over the Cowboys, and everybody got really excited. I watched NFL Network's pregame version, and Tony Gonzalez, man, he was all in on what you were just talking about. He's back. Aaron Rodgers is back. The Packers are back. Oh my gosh. That was the springboard. The Cowboys game, this is where they go crazy. This is where Aaron Rodgers takes over. This is where they start winning a ton of games. And Richard Sherman and who else is on there? Joe Thomas or I don't remember. I don't remember who else was on the panel. They're like, no. You need to pump the brakes. No. Right, especially Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
Richard Sherman's like, no, bro. That's not true. I'm picking the Titans to win. I don't know, are you circa 2012, Aaron Rodgers?
Listen, sometimes it gets trapped in your mind. Those
and Tony
images.
Gonzalez would not give it up. He's like, man, oh my gosh,
he's a Hall of Famer.
He's all. Yes, he kept saying that. He's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famers.
Future Hall of Famer. This guy's first ballot. He's blah blah going on. He's like, this is where we've seen this so many times. You've seen this script. You've read it. This is where the Packers go on their run. And the other side, the left side of the table is like, no.
Yeah, no. Not this year.
You keep selling, bro. We're not buying it.
Not this year.
I know you're selling it. We're not buying it.
And it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
But I'm not going to lie, Darren. I was holding my breath all night, waiting for it to happen. And it just didn't. And that's great for the Titans. Titans win. They played a heck of a ball game, and everything came through for them. But I do understand in this particular sense, and as we're looking at some of the coverage, we have monitors up here in our studios about whatever's happening in the world of sports. This game becomes more about what happened to the Packers instead of how great the Tennessee Titans were last night, playing one of the most complete football games as a team that we've seen them play in a little while. They were...
By the way, right, one of the televisions, you say, look at their topic.
Yeah, I see it.
Is the Packers season over?
Ready to say Packers season over.
There you go. So
that's,
by the way,
I understand.
Back off. Now for all those that jumped on, now they're back off. Now everybody's back off.
Sure. No, this is because this is the story. The downfall of this sports icon named Aaron Rodgers. And are we seeing the last of it? Because all that's good. And listen, we saw Brent Favre come and go, okay? And, again, about these legendary players, sometimes they show up one day and they don't have it no more. It happens. Happens to everybody. It just is what it is. So if it's Aaron Rodgers' time, it's Aaron Rodgers' time. And if he needs to, hang it up, and I'm sure he'll try to hang on because he's a competitor, and, I'm sure he'll rise up for a half somewhere. But if he's through the point, and I remember this, Darren, with Steve McNair, and I'm sure you do as well, where Steve went from having great seasons to great strings of games to great games to great halves to great plays. But you never quite got the full McNair experience like you did during the MVP years. Eventually, it started to kind of tail off. And his skills kind of started to diminish over the years a little bit. And he just wasn't the same guy. And who is the same guy?
Well, I think
it happens.
In the case of Steve McNair, it's probably not an apples-to-apples comparison because he was marred with injuries his whole career.
He was.
And he had some horrific injuries.
He did.
Some bad.
Oh, boy.
His body took a beating.
It did.
I mean, he was abused over the years. So
he had high mileage on him. He did.
Oh, yeah. He was a high-mileage car.
Yeah.
If you were buying that used car, high mileage.
High mileage on Steve.
Okay. High mileage. Aaron Rodgers, I guess it's high mileage, but it's highway miles, right?
Well, I don't know.
Like Steve's were city miles. Aaron's are highway miles.
Is it really highway miles playing up in Green Bay?
I don't know.
Because you buy those northern cars, everybody knows you got to check
salt.
that. You got to check that undercarriage, okay? The salt and the sound. Oh, it's got 92,000 miles. This car, yeah. It's been in Connecticut.
Stick a mirror underneath it.
It's been in Wisconsin, okay?
It's rusted out.
I know it says 68,000 miles on it, but is it really 68,000? After the salt and the sand has eaten the inside of your car. Aaron Rodgers got a lot of miles on him, and you're right. He didn't get punished the way Steve McNair did. But we are starting to see, clearly, the same snap of the ball, no. The same the ability in the pocket to move away from pressure, no. He's more apt to throw the ball away or make bad. He almost got intentional grounding last night.
I know.
What are you talking about?
That's why
he almost got.
I'm
Well, he did
saying-
get intentional grounding. He almost got intentional grounding in the end zone for a safety.
Justin, that's why I'm saying it just – I never had the feeling they were going to lose. The Titans were
Aaron
gonna lose.
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers just doesn't look like the same dude. Is he still – do you still have to give him respect? Of course.
Sure.
But does he look like the dude we've watched his entire career? In my opinion, no, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Now, the Titans also played arguably their best game of the season. I'd say probably it's not even arguably.
Yeah.
It's probably their best game of the season. And in all of that, and it took us 14 minutes, almost 15 minutes to bring it up. So I'm pretty proud of us, actually. We've probably done what no other show in town has done. We went the first 15 minutes talking about the game and have it brought up. Unfortunately, I'll use the word marred again, or should I use overshadowed in the win, and maybe their best win of the season, their best game of the season, is what we all woke up to, well, or learned early this morning, maybe over coffee, over a bagel, over a donut, or whatever. However you learned, but the offensive coordinator, Todd Downing, was arrested.
Yeah.
And that's what stinks, because that is and we'll hear from Mike Vrabel a little bit later in the show. We're going to talk to Steve Lehman here coming up soon. He was in Green Bay. He was at Lambeau Field. We'll talk more about this game. We'll hear from the head coach. He already had his press conference today following last night's win. But as you can imagine, most of the press conference was not about this unbelievable win, not about maybe their best game of the year, not about Ryan Tannehill's best game of the year, not Treylon Burks' best game of his career, not that receivers were catching the ball. It was about his offensive coordinator getting arrested and charged with driving under the influence and speeding
That's right.
by the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Mm-hmm. So that's what's unfortunate. And I know we're going to have to talk about it because it is news, okay? It's big news. And whether it's a player or whether it's a coach, it's big news. And that's what people are talking about rather than this win. Remember yesterday when I asked you who's going to have a bigger game, and you laughed, and I get it. That's why I asked it, because I knew the reaction should be laughable.
Yeah.
Watson or Burks?
Yeah.
So I ask you today, who had the better game?
Burks.
Right.
Burks had the better game.
Watson had 2 touchdowns, but he didn't really do anything. It was like two. What was it? Did he have more than 2 catches? Or was it just 2 catches for 2 touchdowns?
No, I felt like he had more than that. I haven't looked at it, though. But
4 catches, 2 touchdowns.
There we go.
4 catches?
Thank you.
What was his yards? It was low.
It's like 60s, right?
48 yards.
48 yards. Treylon Burks, 117. How many catches? 7?
Yeah.
More catches, more yards, and he got beat in the touchdown category. And I know that's a big deal, but
It is. But, yeah.
remember yesterday I said, it's time. Treylon Burks is back. He seems to be healthy. It's time for him now to take that next step. They need him down the stretch.
And he took it.
Hey, and look what it looks like. What does it look like when they use Treylon Burks?
What
does it look like whenever the first-round pick is actually catching the ball?
Like a working offense.
Yeah. That's a good way of describing it.
Like
A functioning
like
offense.
a full-service offense. How about this? Look. We can throw and run. How about that?
What you got, D?
Let's go now.
We can do both.
Now that we got both hands, this is going to be fun.
And, oh, by the way, now the tight ends couldn't catch a cold. Well, you could say, well, it was warm in September and a lot of October. Okay, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But now it's cold, and you got Chig and Hooper as real threats. Like, they're catching everything. Like, they're using them, and they should use them more, in my opinion.
They should. They absolutely should. It is a tremendous thing to see the offense be able to actually run like an actual NFL offense. It was a beautiful thing. And to see wide receivers, there was a moment last night, Darren, where the Packers had jumped off sides. The Packers jumped off sides, and the Titans had a free play. And I saw Ryan Tannehill go back, and he surveyed, and he threw a ball downfield.
Mm-hmm.
And the ball was to Treylon Burks. It was incomplete, but it looked unusual for them to take a shot. I was like, where is the ball going? The ball can travel that far? It almost felt foreign. to see the ball traveling that far, that fast for them on offense. But there it was. And, it goes to show what can happen when you get your pieces back and, the offense starts to function and the offensive line finds its way somehow, despite missing Ben Jones and Taylor Lewan last night.
Who?
The left tackle.
Who?
Left tackle from Michigan, number 77.
Dennis Daly?
No, 77.
77.
77.
No.
Okay. He's been here for a little while.
When did he play?
He did not play last night.
Yeah,
he was missing. That was my point. He was missing.
Did he play in the Denver game?
No, he wasn't in that game either. He's been out a little bit.
Was he in the Casey game?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He hasn't played in a little while.
Yeah.
But,
It was really warm when he played.
It was.
Like in the 90s.
Yeah, it was. It was warm.
Today it's in the 40s.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. But they're missing him, too. And they were still able to find a way to go out there and make the thing work. So, good for them.
Right.
Tremendous.
We'll come back. Steve Lehman, News Channel 5. He was at Lambeau Field. We'll talk about last night's big win, 27-17 over the Packers. We'll do that next year on the McFarland Show, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's free bets back if your bet doesn't win. Just sign up with our promo code TAS. There's so many great deals. You can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. And you get paid your winnings fast, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code TAS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. In the state of Tennessee, you got to be 21 and up and present in Tennessee. First online, real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the TN Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Hey, it's Patton Cook from Run With It. Let me tell you about my friends over at Smiles by Design. Dr. Dwayne Jones and his team focus on providing you with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Smiles by Design are one of the few practices that offer state-of-the-art, needle-free cavity fillings. I started going to Dr. Jones 2 years ago, and he has completely changed my smile. They are located at 105 Threet Industrial Boulevard, Unit 1001 in Smyrna. You can visit their website at drdwaynejones.com for more information, or you can call them at 615-355-1033. Again, their number is 615-355-1033. Or you can search for them on social media at Smiles by Design. So be sure the next time you're looking for dentistry services, give my friends over at Smiles by Design a try. And don't forget to tell them Patton sent you.
From the big game to the big dance, Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the Bar Line staff take care of you. Grab a Bar Line signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs. Or a Bar Line's double stack and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Line. Located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Get all your NASCAR news every weekday right here on The Final Lap. Hey, it's Kerry Murphy, and NASCAR is going to have a float in the Tournament of Roses parade. There was racing this past weekend, the Fall Brawl, and we have the final Cup Series standings for 2022. So, grab all the latest NASCAR news, driver interviews, stats, and info every single weekday right here. And check out our NASCAR talk show called The Final Lap Weekly, wherever you get your podcasts. Every single weekday right here.
Back here on the McFarland Show, Darren and Justin here with you on this Friday afternoon. It's time to talk about the game that took place at Lambeau Field last night.
Richmond, 96, go!
And now, it's time for Darren and Justin's Big Game Reaction. Sponsored by ABS Communications. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. Call Mark and the gang today at 615-349-8588 or visit them online at abscomm.net. ABS Communications. They make complex simple.
Steve Lehman, News Channel 5. He was at Lambeau Field. I've never been there. I hope the press box is enclosed. I hope it's not open air. Like San Diego's. They used to have an open air press box. I hope it was closed.
It's also San Diego.
Well, that's true. That's a good point. Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing well, and thankfully it was enclosed. I'm a big fan of the open air press boxes, but I don't think it's going to be needed in Green Bay anytime soon.
Yeah, open air in San Diego is a good point. I'm trying to think, do you have any other examples of open air press boxes that you can think of?
Well, there's a bunch in the SEC, like
Florida,
Florida,
yeah.
Georgia, South Carolina, Arkansas. I may be leaving a couple out, but there's a bunch in the SEC. It's actually my only real complaint about Neyland Stadium is that there isn't an open-air press box where you can really soak in the environment from the press box during the game. You really have to go down to the field to get the full picture of it. But, yeah, SEC has a bunch, but other than that, I can't think of any.
Did I hear some boo birds as the first half ended last night?
Yeah,
Was the crowd restless?
You did, and they are. I think part of that is just Packers fans being spoiled at this point. They've had so much success. They have been the gold standard in the NFC North since the realignment 2 decades ago. And obviously they've had a ton of success with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and they expect their offenses to perform. And when they struggle, like they struggled at times last night, and they have struggled throughout the course of this 4 and now 7 start to the season, it's an issue, and they don't like it. And I think they're perplexed at why this offense has really struggled to get going, because they're running the football pretty well up until last night. They've got a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and you've got some guys that have caught passes before. Maybe they're on the back end of the career, but they just can't seem to get it going, and that's a real frustration for folks around Green Bay.
I said yesterday, Steve, on the show that it is time for Treylon Burks, now that he's upright and healthy. It's time for him to take the next step in his young NFL career. They need him. They need him to be a real viable option. And I even said yesterday, and Justin rightfully so laughed, because I knew everybody would laugh when they heard this. I said, who's going to have a bigger game tonight, Burks or Watson? Treylon Burks or Christian Watson? I ask you, Steve, who had a better game last night, Burks or Watson?
I was amazed at basically how the game played out last night, because Treylon Burks played so well for the Titans and showed what you hoped he could be in the draft pick. I think Christian Watson's a great player, and as long as Aaron Rodgers is going to be his quarterback, I think he's going to be only better and better. I thought a funny stat from last night, Darren, was with 5 touchdowns in the last 6 days, he now leads all rookies in the NFL in touchdown catches this season. He had 0 going into the Cowboys game on Sunday. So that tells you how big his week has been, and I think he's only going to get better. I might take him given the offense and given what his quarterback is right now, but there's a real encouragement from what you got from Treylon Burks, considering he was on IR just a couple of days ago, and now he's back and putting up 100 yards on a primetime game on Thursday night. That was incredibly impressive what he did last night. And it wasn't just the numbers they put it, but I liked how he did it. 3rd and 7 early on in the game, he goes down the field and makes a play. That was an A.J. Brown type of play, and I hate the comparison, and everybody keeps wanting to do it, but that was an A.J. Brown type of play last night on 3rd and 7, and obviously the ball that put the game away late. Those are fun things to see from your rookie.
I don't think you can expect Ryan Tannehill to look like that week in and week out, but if they can get somewhere close to the Ryan Tannehill last night, they'll be cooking with gas the rest of this season. Do you think this is maybe Ryan Tannehill healthy now, or somewhat healthy, or healthier, that they can expect more to more look like this as opposed to what it looked like the first half of the season? Or what do you think?
I think that's a good point. I think maybe all of the pieces around him, Darren, are getting a little bit more healthy. But I'll be honest, when I look at last night's game, the story of the game to me is the passing game for the Titans showing up in the way that it did. And to me, it's Ryan Tannehill above Robert Woods or above Treylon Burks or Austin Hooper catching 2 touchdowns. It's the performance of the quarterback, and here's why. Because I sit back and think, why did all those guys have a good game? And it's because Ryan Tannehill was darn near flawless. The interception was bad, but that was almost like an out-of-body experience in the whole game. Other than that, he was amazing. He was 22 of 26 besides that throw, and 3 of those were throwaways because the play was just completely blown up from the beginning. He was darn near perfect in that stretch, and for the first time since maybe the first year he took over from Mariota and you had that direct comparison, I feel like Ryan Tannehill elevated the guys around him. And that's always been a discussion, Darren. I know you and I have had it for a long time. When you compare Tannehill to the other guys in the league, I think you often say he's been a good quarterback for the Titans. He's been an upgrade to what they had, but he's not the type of quarterback like a Brady or a Rodgers or a Breeze that can elevate average players around him and make them better. Last night, Ryan Tannehill elevated the Titans' offense around him, and if you get that type of play from him down the stretch of the season, it changes what the ceiling for this team was. Because if they can throw for 300 yards in a game when they're only rushing for 86 or whatever and change what you have to think about defensively, they can win games if Derrick Henry doesn't run for 150 yards. I'm not sure we felt that way a couple of weeks ago, but with Ryan Tannehill coming back on Sunday and what he did last night, I think you have a little bit more confidence. If a team sells out to stop number 22, you can still put points on the board and win a game.
We've been praising their defense, Steve, so much, rightfully so. Last night, 1 sack on Rodgers, no takeaways, no fumbles. I mean, there's no glaring things, right? No turnovers, a sack, and yet here they are, stuffing the Packers and holding them to 17 points at Lambeau. I don't know what else there is to say about this Titans defense. I don't know how they became one of the best defenses in the league, but they certainly are.
They absolutely are. There's no question about it. And it starts with the fact that they don't let people run the ball. Maybe the most shocking thing of the season is how well the Giants ran the ball back in Week 1, but since then, no one runs the ball on them. And the Packers had run the ball on everybody. Good defenses, bad defenses, every defense got ran on by this two-headed monster rushing attack of the Packers until last night when they ran for 56 yards. And so it got to the point in the game last night that's kind of like Kansas City, who was more than happy to abandon the running game and just strictly put the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands. It got to the point in the second half where essentially they just said, Aaron Rodgers is going to have to go try and win the game. And when you make a team completely one-dimensional, even if you got an Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, if you can let those pass rushers pin their ears back and go after him, and the Titans picked up the pressure in the second half because they didn't have to worry as much about the run game, and because the front 4 or 5 at times get so much pressure, they've been able to drop 6 and sometimes 7 guys in coverage, which makes it more difficult to find those openings. So the Titans will still give up some yards. They'll let teams move between the 20s, but they're a very difficult team to drive the field and score against. They're great in the red zone. They don't let you run the ball. They make you one-dimensional, and when you do, they get after your quarterback. It's a really good recipe to play defense like that in this league. And it's interesting, the overall numbers, because their pass defense gives up some yards, aren't great. Like, I don't know if they're going to be a top 5 defense statistically at the end of the year, but I'm not sure what defense I want in a big game more than them right now. It's sort of the perfect way for a Vrabel team to play. It may not be statistically sexy, but, man, is it effective.
Yeah, it certainly can be. Steve, can you talk about the play of the offensive line despite missing 2 of their starters overnight with, of course, missing Ben Jones, and, of course, Taylor Lewan has been gone now for several weeks. But yet and still, they've been able to plug and play, and Brewer really making the shift over there. I know there was just a lot of questions, but I think he answered a lot of the questions last night.
Absolutely. I think you have to give a ton of credit for Aaron Brewer in a short week, nonetheless, to move over from left guard to center, where he's not getting those reps during the course of the regular season because he's getting the reps at left guard. I figured for all the world that it would be Corey Levin at center last night, and they'd keep everything else the same. But that shows you how much confidence they have in Aaron Brewer and what he's capable of doing. I thought he played well last night. I thought Dylan Radin stepped in and played pretty well at left guard, which is an encouraging sign about a guy they drafted in the second round last season. And without Ben Jones, who I think is an anchor and a stabilizing force for this offense, they still went out there and they were able to protect Tannehill, and they were able to run the ball as effectively as they needed to. It was an impressive performance, a gutsy effort, and they were able to get it done, once again shorthanded, which continues to be the MO of this team. It doesn't matter what the injury is or who it's to. The expectation is that they find a way. I mean, think about it. Malik Willis was about as bad as a quarterback could be in terms of running the offense effectively in the 2 games he was in. And the Titans won one of them and nearly beat the Chiefs in Kansas City in the other one. This team just has a remarkable knack of finding ways to step up when guys go down.
Very, very impressive. And what impressed me, Steve, even last night, was the fact that they let Brewer do some of the trick things they do. The direct snap to Derrick Henry while Tannehill fakes confusion and things like that. You know, you do that kind of thing on a silent count, and he's doing it. He's doing it, and that's normally the stuff Ben Jones is in charge of doing. I guess it just goes to show the kind of faith they have in him, and the fact that he's been, I guess, prepping for this for a little while.
Yeah, again, give all the credit in the world for Aaron Brewer to be able to slide over and do that effectively. But also, I think you have to give a ton of credit to the Titans and their coaching staff for the game plan they put in, because, again, they were playing 96 hours earlier against a completely different opponent. Yeah. And then Thursday night they have to go out there. Generally, you expect vanilla game plans and just kind of go out there and sort of run your base stuff and see if that's good enough to win on a short week. The Titans had one of their more creative plans of the entire season last night in what they did offensively. And yes, some of that is having Tannehill back and the trust you have in him to run the entire gambit of the offense. Some of that is having Treylon Burks, who can stretch the field and do some different things for you, and a healthy Robert Woods deeper into the season, and Austin Hooper and Chigakonkwo becoming more of the offense. All of that are factors there. But I think you just have to give a ton of credit about the work ethic of this team and what they believe in. And that was the first thing Mike Vrabel said in his post-game press conference last night, is he said this game was won early in the week when guys came in and understood that they had to put in the effort. And I remember talking to him on Monday in the wrap-up of the Broncos. He said, when we go inside, it's Wednesday and Thursday in here. And so there was no, film session wrapping up the game, really. It immediately went on to, this is day one with first and second down, this is base offense, all that sort of stuff to get into where they needed to be later in the week. And I think you have to give the edge in coaching last night to the Titans staff and getting this team prepared with a great game plan to go on the road in 96 hours and beat a quality football team, and that's what they did last night.
Let's talk about something that's not a big deal until it's a big deal. It was not a big deal last night, but at any given moment, it can become a big deal, and that's the kicking situation. Randy Bullock, of course, unavailable, so they brought out Lambeau. He missed an extra point. He was okay, I guess, other than that. What is this team doing at kicker? And I know they're in a tough spot.
Well, if there were better options out there than Josh Lambeau, I'm pretty sure they would have signed him. There aren't a ton of guys that you can find off the street to come in and be incredible at this point. Lambeau at least has experience, so for a guy who can be on your practice squad in case Randy Bullock isn't ready to go, I think he's not a terrible option in that regard. It wasn't the easiest of nights to kick last night, but you do worry about that. For so long, the Titans have taken their kicking and their punting games for granted until a couple of years ago when they first lost Ryan Suckup and they couldn't find anyone to make a kick. And I think that still hangs over them, as it's like, oh man, if Bullock, who has been largely effective, can't go, you've got a real concern about how confident you can be on any kick. They do have a break here, Justin, in the fact that they essentially get a mini bye by playing in the Thursday night game. That's the benefit of the short turnaround, is now you have a long turnaround to come back for that Bengals game in 10 days. That hopefully will give some time for Randy Bullock to take a little rest and not do anything on that leg and feel like he's going to be 100% when they come back, and hopefully the Lambeau thing's not even an issue. And that can go to some other injuries because they got beat up again defensively last night. Danico Autry, Hart went down, Christian Fulton with the hamstring. For those guys to get some extra time, I think that's huge because this team had the earliest bye you could have, and now the season's 17 weeks long. To be able to get that mini bye at this point, they're going to get another one in December with that Cowboys game on Thursday night. I think those can be huge for a team that looks like it's going to the playoffs, and now I think believes it can compete in the playoffs based off of what it's done in the last few weeks.
That did not sound encouraging today from Mike Vrabel about Danico Autry. The fact that he would even hint already the day after the game that Danico Autry could miss some time.
No, admit. He did more than hint. He admitted.
Yeah, that is not encouraging.
No, and it didn't look good last night. He was writhing in pain immediately. He was down there. Every single guy who was on the field got pretty close to him and then went down on a knee. And that's not something you generally see at the NFL if the guy's about to hop up and bounce right back to it. And obviously he went over to the sideline. I heard a report that maybe there were some tears over there. It's possible that was just wind chill, given the temperatures last night, but still, obviously it wasn't a good situation. Carted back to the locker room, and I think the Titans have to worry about a guy who's been one of their most consistent and durable presence in this defense over the last 2 years, missing some significant time.
Steve, end it with this. Unfortunately, that incredible win, arguably their best game of the season, is marred and overshadowed by what took place, what we learned this morning about their offensive coordinator, Todd Downing, being charged with driving under the influence and speeding. What are your thoughts on that and how Mike Vrabel handled those questions today, and what do you think about moving forward?
Yeah, it's incredibly unfortunate, obviously. Thankfully, it doesn't appear anybody was hurt out of the incident, and that's something you always worry about whenever you hear about something like this. But it's incredibly reckless, and it's incredibly dumb, and anyone over there would say that immediately, at least once they have all the facts. I think Vrabel handled it fine today. He, above all people, understands the responsibility that team has in the community, and he takes great pride in it. So I can't imagine he's happy. I can't imagine Amy Adams-Strunk is happy, and I don't know what it means for Todd Downing. I find it hard to believe you'd be looking at any sort of a suspension or something like that for the offensive coordinator at this point, but I imagine there will be some stern talks within that facility, not just to him, but probably to everybody, about the reminder that they have to always be above reproach in certainly the things, and especially after the game last night. I mean, that sounds like a heck of a fun plane ride home, I guess, but you got to be smart when you get off that plane and make sure that you're capable and ready to get home. And it's just a really, really unfortunate situation. Again, thankfully nothing worse than what the story actually is, but I'm sure there will be some long talks this weekend around St. Thomas Sports Park.
Well, it's good to have you back in balmy 40s, Steve, so welcome back home.
Well, I appreciate that. It is barely warmer, but it is warmer.
Thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep, we'll see you guys.
Steve Lehman, News Channel 5. Good stuff. He was at Lambeau Field covering the game last night. Titans win 27-17. We can get your reaction on the other side. 615-844-5600. That's the Cure Hotline number. We're wide open the rest of the hour. We'll begin the second hour. We'll hear a little bit of what Mike Vrabel had to say today about the Todd Downing incident and continue to take calls and discuss. You're listening to the McFarland Show here on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
It's a special Friday night of Division II Class A playoff semifinal action as Nashville Christian hosts Jackson Christian in the Mid-State Checkdown High School game of the week. And making the evening even more special is the reunion in the broadcast booth of play-by-play announcer Joe Fisher and color analyst John Gromos, who teamed together in those roles from Vanderbilt football for 17 seasons.
7 seconds left. Curtis lobs one toward the end zone, has a man, touchdown, Nashville Christian.
Our football playoffs coverage begins with a pregame show at 6:45 and kickoff at 7. And then after the game, it's the scoreboard show with Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, and Ray Doss. High school coverage is presented by Boom Ba's Craft Pizza, Omni Nashville Hotel, Southern Trophy House, Sir Speedy of Music City, and Mooyah Burgers and Shakes in Brentwood. That's Jackson Christian at Nashville Christian in the Division II Class A semifinals with the reunion in the broadcast booth of Joe Fisher and John Gromos right here on Nashville Sports Radio.
30, 25-20, 15, 10-5, touchdown, Nashville Christian. Boom.
Before you know it, the holiday season will be upon us, so it's time to start planning. If you're having a holiday party or event this year, then you should consider the Omni Nashville Hotel. Have a festive holiday party for your company, family, or friends at the most luxurious location in Music City. All your guests will experience the award-winning service from their well-trained, courteous staff at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Rooms that are second to none, and venues that will be the envy of all your guests. For smaller gatherings, reserve the private dining room inside Kitchen Notes. For a fun party atmosphere, consider bar lines. And for high-end corporate entertaining, choose Bob's Steakhouse. You can't go wrong when you book your party at the Omni Nashville Hotel. For more information or inquire about availability, just call 615-782-5333. That's 615-782-5333. The Omni Nashville Hotel, Music City's holiday party destination.
Whoa, are you kidding me?
There's plenty of game left. Just chill out. If you're too riled up, you won't ever get to sleep tonight.
How can I chill out when I have to put up with this every single week?
Oh, and he gets picked off. Interception.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay, that's enough. Here, try these cannabis products from Lab Canna. And these heightened Delta 8 gummies and Karma Calming Caramels will help put you in a better state of mind.
Whether you win or lose, make every game day better with cannabis products from Lab Canna. Learn more today at labcanna.com.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Skyscan forecast. Today's going to be sunny with a high of 42. A partly cloudy night tonight, low 22. Saturday, sunny, high 46. Sunday, sunny skies, high 42. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Well, you should be in a good mood on this Friday. 1, it's Friday.
Yeah.
2,
yeah.
Titans, spreads, both won last night.
W's.
Two big games in this market.
Boy, shout out to the Predators. Big win.
3 in a row.
3 in a row. Enjoying that home cooking. Take some of the hot chicken on the road with you next time, guys, or whatever it is that you eat here.
Mm-hmm.
Take it on the road with you.
And then the Titans dominated the Packers last night. So everybody should be in good spirits. And then, hey, we do it all over again this weekend. Lots of college football. Lots of NFL.
Soak in that college football
basketball,
while you still can. College football is one of those
Preds.
things, it'll disappear before you know it.
Yeah.
You got to soak it in, enjoy it, take it in, listen to the bands, do all the stuff.
Let's go to the Cure Hotline. Let's go out to Nolensville. Tony is standing by. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys.
Afternoon, Tony.
How you doing?
The game last night with, like you say, the offensive coordinator, what some great imaginary play calling also. They put in some nifty little plays there, some new wrinkles, and, especially the jump pass and throwing on when we could have, they thought they were going to take a knee to run out the clock to open the game up with a big pass, and the fake on was it 4th and 1 where Hill walks away.
Yeah,
like
you know
he's
what?
confused.
Let me just say this, Tony. I'm glad you brought that play up. Did anybody else know exactly what? Like, we've seen this play so many times over the years now. Did anybody really buy that Ryan Tannehill was having a real discussion with the sideline of what's going on? Like, I was like, oh, this is direct snap. This is going straight to Henry. I would just think that play wouldn't work anymore.
You can see it drawn up.
But it worked.
You're right. You're right, Darren. And I said right there, I said, is this going to be is he faking everybody off of this or what? You could almost see it develop,
Yeah.
And,
that's what I was sitting there going, oh, this is direct snap. Here it comes. And, sure enough.
About that play, I think it worked because Henry didn't give it a chance not to work. He caught the ball, took 2 steps, and jumped. So if that's the way, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of position you get in. All they needed was a couple of inches, and that's all they got. So,
well, if he was an inch shorter in height and 2 pounds lighter, he wouldn't have made it.
He wouldn't have made it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Justin got a bone to pick with you.
Come on with it.
I want to ask you, after watching Tannehill last night and the passing game we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
We talked just 2 days ago.
We did.
Do you still really honestly believe if we had a passing game, we would have still lost to Kansas City? I know that's water way under the bridge, but
no, Tony, it's not water way under the bridge, sir. Not at all.
I've heard Watson talk about it. Watson Brown even said the same thing I did.
Watson
I've heard
Brown.
others say it, and when you hear other people, and I just cannot believe if we had 100 yards of passing in that game, with just 100 yards, I think we win the game. It doesn't matter now. The schedule is what it is. But I just, after seeing last night what we saw, if you still kind of believe that.
There is no question that Ryan Tannehill makes a difference in the operation of the offense. And if I said that, or made a suggestion that he wouldn't the other day, then I apologize for that, because that's not what I was getting at. All I was getting at is the same way that Ryan Tannehill completes passes and does some wonderful things. There are times in which he does not complete passes and throws interceptions and put the ball in harm's way, as he also did last night on one occasion.
Right.
That did not cost him the game in that situation. But there have been other situations where at times, and Tony, you're very observant, sir, you watch, he puts the ball in harm's way at times, Tony. We're trying to force the ball and make passes. And, he means well.
Right.
He means well, but, it's not stupid. He doesn't do a lot of stupid stuff, but he does try to force things, Tony. And that's all I was saying the other day is I'm not sure in that particular game if the Chiefs know that, they aren't looking for those opportunities and don't capitalize on them, and the Titans just lose the game in another way instead of having, because Malik Willis was not out there with those kind of things, but, he presents a whole nother set of problems. So,
well, I respect everything you said. I do. I just wanted to get your take on that. And want to change gears, guys.
Sure.
Listening to the first question asked to Vrabel today in his press conference, and it's sad that great win last night is being overshadowed by what happened several hours later, and that's just the way the world we live in. But, a question was asked by Teresa Walker. We all know who Teresa is. And she asked a question about the Titans policy, and she said that they have a policy in place that, you can get a ride from any. They have a ride share policy they have.
Most teams
get a ride anywhere, anytime. And like I say, I'm not being judgmental. He just made a bad decision. But what I am curious what the investigation is going to. I've listened to more talk on some other shows today. There is a NFL policy about not having alcohol on buses, shuttles, and airplanes on their travels. And I think in the investigation that might come out too.
Well, if you notice, Mike Vrabel did not touch that question. He was specifically asked about alcohol on the plane, and he totally danced around it, which, one, we all know it's just if that is a hard, fast rule that they're not allowed to, it's broken. Because there was just
and not just by the Titans either.
There was just that's what I'm getting at.
Right.
There was just a video of Taylor Heineke, who got the win Monday night in Philadelphia, on the plane with chains around doing the Kirk Cousins, right? Yeah. They're basically making fun of Kirk Cousins, and he's got a bucket of Busch beer next to him.
Cooler in the background.
Right. And like you say, Justin, you're absolutely right. It's not just the Titans, I mean, they're going to look hard at the Titans. They might as well look at the whole league. And I think we all are adults and we all know what goes on. It's just a bad decision made, and hopefully everything will come out good of this, and hopefully our coach can get everything worked out. We can all move forward.
Thank you, Tony. Have a great weekend.
And I've got one more question.
Okay.
One question. Tonight I'm going to go watch Nolensville and Page. It's going to be a hell of a high school football game.
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all going to be? What games are y'all looking at, and what games do y'all think might be interesting to see what plays out in the high school games tonight?
Where is that game tonight? Where is that game? Is it in Nolensville?
It's in Nolensville.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Tony. We'll enjoy it. Have a great weekend. We'll come back and we'll answer that on the other side because we need to step away one more time. Back to wrap up the first hour of the McFarland Show next.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Lieutenant, can you tell us what happened today?
Our officers responded to a crash on I-40 westbound this morning. The driver of a pickup truck lost control of the vehicle, veered left, and went into a ditch.
911, what's your emergency?
We've been in a crash. Please send someone. My fiancé is hurt.
A front seat passenger was wearing a seatbelt. She survived without injury. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the truck. He died at the scene.
Law enforcement writes tickets to save lives. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
You know what the Mets stand for?
Metropolitan.
Yeah, that one.
Metropolitan is a flavor of ice cream, right?
Neapolitan.
Oh, okay.
Was that real?
I mean, half and half.
Oh, man. You talk about throwing me off complete. My equator is gone.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
We'll start the second hour and hear what Mike Rabel had to say about the Todd Downing incident. So Tony was asking us about high school football tonight. By the way, you can hear Jackson Christian and Nashville Christian on these airwaves this evening, and then a show to follow, which I believe Devlin will be a part of.
Myself, Ray Dosky, Bruno Reagan. Yep, post.
Well, I was just,
Okay.
I'm just going to say you, but okay, a crew, Devlin and crew will be anchoring some coverage here tonight after that game.
Crew.
Look, I used to do cutting my teeth in this business here in this market. I used to do high school scoreboard shows Friday nights. I did all that stuff, and I haven't done that in a long time. My kid is still in elementary. He's in 5th grade. So, to be honest, I don't follow the high school scene like I used to. Mm-hmm. I will again when he gets older, right? Wherever he is, I'll be following that scene. So he said, what games are you looking forward to? I mean, look, I live in Rutherford County, so I guess Blackman and Oakland would be one.
What a matchup.
That would be one since I live in Rutherford County.
First of all, just regular season, that's an incredible game. those are two. I've been to pep rallies for both of those schools when they get ready to play each other. There is a long-standing rivalry there. Should be a lot of fun between those two tonight.
Yeah, but I don't pretend to follow everything. I mean, I know Lipscomb Academy is going to be in Knoxville. I talked to Vince Ferrara, who will not be able to join us today because he has to fill in on the afternoon show there on the Sports Animal. But he called me last night and said that he did an interview with Trent Dilfer because,
of course,
Lipscomb Academy is in Knoxville tonight to take on Webb.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be an interesting game, right?
Yeah.
But I would say Lipscomb Academy, they've been pretty darn good all year. I know Webb's always good, but
Webb is always in the conversation.
Lipscomb will probably, I would say, take care of business. So.
Yeah. Shout out to Pearl Cone taking on Lexington in the Class 4A. East Nashville taking on Smith County in the Class 3A playoffs as well. So a lot of local teams still in it, trying to make their voice heard here. I know NBA's got a big game tonight as well. So, boy, good luck to all the guys out there getting ready to play something. And you know what? What's special about this, Darren? These guys will remember these playoff games for the rest of their lives. They'll tell stories about it when they're old men. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, remember that cold game in November?
Yeah.
Late November? Beach, Cane Ridge will be another good one tonight.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll come back. We'll hear what the head coach of the Titans had to say about the unfortunate incident that we all learned about this morning around their offensive coordinator, Todd Downing. That's how we'll kick off the second hour of the McFarland Show here on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
On air and online, Sports Radio, WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Marina Roy. At the Justice Department, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced he's named a special counsel to oversee his agency's criminal investigations involving former President Trump, from the probe into classified documents the FBI took from Trump's Florida estate to the January 6th attack. Garland says it will keep the probe independent as Trump has announced he's running for president again.
The Department of Justice has long recognized that in certain extraordinary cases, it is in the public interest to appoint a special prosecutor to independently manage an investigation and prosecution.
Garland says the special counsel will not cover other investigations and cases against Trump in other states. At the White House, President Biden is meeting with business and labor leaders on ways to keep lowering the prices of food, gas, and other consumer goods. It's sentencing day for Elizabeth Holmes. The Theranos founder was convicted on 4 counts of fraud earlier this year. This is ABC News.
Yeah, we're replacing the carpets too, so don't worry about that.
No fresh powder yet, but Dan's Ski Lodge has an avalanche of projects.
Those 4 rooms are getting hot tubs.
He needs a staff engineer to navigate a flurry of new requests.
And all of those will be fully ADA accessible.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. locations. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios. Just a bit outside. Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure Hotline at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour on this Friday afternoon. More of your reaction coming up soon on the McFarland Show. But first, we must get the reaction from Titans head coach Mike Vrabel. He spoke with the media this morning. I think it was about 11:30.
That is correct.
Via Zoom.
Yes, not the in-person press conference.
Nope.
That's important to note here, Darren. So when you hear Coach Vrabel, if he sounds like he's over a phone instead of standing at a microphone, that's because he kind of is at a computer screen, not at a podium, as he gave this press conference here.
And as you can imagine, the focus early on, and that's what we're gonna play, was on what happened or what we learned this morning concerning their offensive coordinator. Here's Mike Vrabel.
First off, I would just like to address the incident that occurred earlier this morning with Todd Downing. I've spoken to Todd. I've spoken to Miss Amy. John and I have been in communication with her, with the league. The league has policies with regards to these incidents, and we'll make sure that the league has all the information that they need. I also know that you have many specific questions regarding the incident, but out of respect to the legal process, the process that the league has, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to answer many of those specific questions. I will say, however, that we all have a great responsibility as members of this community, as coaches and players of this organization, as fathers and husbands and teammates to make great decisions, and we understand that. And so I'll do my best to answer the questions that you have, but also out of respect to the situation, there's going to be some things that I'm not going to be able to talk about.
Teresa?
Mike, one question. There is availability for anyone on the team and in the organization that needs a ride to get a ride no matter what time of day it is, correct?
Yes, that's correct, Teresa. That's something that we had before I got here, and something that we continue to have. So yes, that's provided through our ownership and the team.
John Gunner?
Yeah, Mike, I know that you're somewhat limited in what you can say, but does the team or do you have any policy or plans in terms of discipline for Todd Downing, or is that strictly an NFL situation?
I think that we're working through all of that right now in our conversations that John and I have had, also between us, our president, Burke, and I don't think that we're ready to comment on that, on what that may look like. Again, just remind everybody that the decisions that we have to make have to be great ones, and we'll continue to have conversations with the league, and then also internally.
Terry?
Mike, don't know how much you can comment regarding this either, but with it being a legal matter, does the league policy usually let the legal matter run its course before they institute any form of discipline?
Terry, I can't tell you that that's always been the case. I'm not very confident on that either way. I'm not sure how the league goes about that. We'll just comply with whatever that they ask us to do, and then we'll make a decision and figure out what's next.
Corey?
Hey, Mike, two things. You said you spoke to Todd. Number one, how is he? And number two, can you offer some clarity on what those league policies are?
Well, I have spoken to Todd. The league policies are that we're making sure that we're responsible and that we're making great decisions. We'll continue to work through the league with our actions and our behavior. But the conversation between Todd and I is just like the rest of it with our staff and our players. Will remain with me, and I'll keep those between Todd and
I. Joe?
Coach, have you already talked to the team yet? And if not, how do you plan on addressing this with the rest of the team, especially with them kind of taking a break now before you guys regroup before Tuesday?
There's certain, players that, I reach out to after the game. Our players are off. And I'll make sure that it gets addressed when we get back in here. Still a lot of things that we're working through. And I know that, Joe, you spent a lot of time around us, so have a lot of you guys. And, we'll try to, we'll address it and we'll provide support where support is needed. And we'll make sure that, just as always, that there's something that needs to be held accountable. We'll make sure that that person's held accountable. But we'll address it. Obviously, just haven't had a chance really to get the team together, and it's just the timing of
it. Chris Harris.
Hey, Mike, in your experience, both as a player and a coach in the NFL, how often is alcohol on a plane? And is there any regulation on how it's served or moderated or anything?
Well, I think a lot of these are specifics with regards to the incident. I think we're all gathering information right now, Chris. So I won't be able to comment specifically on this or what was in the past or other places that I've been.
Just as a quick follow, just in general, how, in your experience, how often has alcohol been on the plane?
Yeah. I know that these are some specific questions that I'm not going to be able to address at this time, just with regards to the league process and the legal process. And, very, very, very sensitive to the situation and making sure that we're doing everything that we can to provide great decisions with ourselves and the community.
Gentry.
Yeah, Mike. Just how discouraging is this for you after a pretty good win last night to be sitting here talking about this?
I don't think discouraging, Gentry. I don't want to try to give it an adjective. I don't. It's a part of, it's an incident that came up. It's something that we are going to take very seriously. We are going to gather all the information that we can, figure out what the next step is, and do our best to move forward. So I don't think discouraged, is something that I've thought about today.
Teresa?
Gonna grind gears a little bit here, Mike, but to turn around on a short week and to find a way to win a road game in the fashion last night with the best offensive performance overall that this team's had this season, how nice.
we'll just go on and end it there. We wanted to hear the reaction of Todd Downing. No disrespect to Teresa's question.
Outstanding, Teresa.
Yeah, but
Teresa Walker of the AP.
This is where it was going to get into what happened last night. And that's fine.
In the football.
Yeah, what happened in the football game. But we wanted to hear how Mike Vrabel was going to answer what was out there today. I'd say good on Chris Harris. A lot of good questions in there.
Sure.
Good on Chris Harris for asking that and following up. And like I said earlier in the last hour, Mike Vrabel wanted nothing to do with that question and was not going to comment about alcohol on a plane. And here's where I'm at on that.
Okay.
As you know, I've traveled with teams before. I've been on team planes. I've seen what it's like on team planes after games. I don't know if it is a policy, I don't know why. Like I said, there's video out there circulating that Taylor Heineke had a big bucket of Busch beer next to him after the win in Philadelphia against the Eagles. That was Monday night. It's Friday. So we know drinking goes on. I've done shows for years with former players. Mm-hmm. I've talked to them about team planes. Mm-hmm. I know darn well there's been alcohol on team planes. There's always been alcohol on team planes. And I don't really have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with anybody. It's kind of like when I covered, Justin, I was in the heart of the whole Pac-Man stuff in the strip club in Las Vegas. And I lived, my life lived through that incident.
Oh, my goodness.
Every day. It was like I was on for 5 hours a day, but it consumed every day.
Yeah.
And even then, as crazy as Pac-Man was and all the stuff that was going on when he was a member of the Titans, I said, look, players can go to strip clubs. Just don't, make it rain and shoot people up. It's not that hard. You're allowed to go to strip clubs. It's okay. You're allowed to do that. Just be freaking responsible. In my opinion, you should be allowed to drink in the locker room. You should be allowed to drink on the plane if you want, if that's what you want to do. Just be responsible afterwards. That's all we're asking. And in this case, I'm not going to give Todd Downing any leeway on this. I'm just not. He's an adult. He's a grown man. He's a coach. More importantly, he's a coordinator. So he's high profile. There's 32 offensive coordinators in the National Football League. He's one of them. You have a great responsibility in that. I don't give a damn if Todd Downing's drinking. Look, it's very clear by this incident, he has been listening. He knows. That's why I've always said over years, if coaches tell you or players tell you they don't know what's being said or written, they're lying, okay? Watch their nose. It'll grow because they're lying. They do. Even if they're not directly reading it, someone in the organization is plopping stuff in their locker, down on their desk. They read it. Hey, you need to see what so-and-so just wrote about you or what so-and-so just said about you on the radio. Most of them listen to Sports Talk Radio. I know. I've had those conversations with coaches and players over the years. So don't believe them because I don't. Mm-hmm. It's very clear he knows what's been said. He has been the whipping boy this year. Okay. It's what comes with the territory. They're the worst offense in the National Football League. Well, what do you think is going to happen? The offensive coordinator is going to get beat up. They have the worst stats in the league offensively. So Todd Downing's been getting it. And this is a carryover, too, of last year. They weren't very good last year on his watch. So it's very clear he knows what's being said on the radio airwaves, what's being written about him. And that was his way of cutting loose and probably giving everybody the middle finger, right? And that's fine. I don't care. It was his best game as an offensive coordinator.
It was.
And that's okay. If that fueled his fire, if that's what, that helped what took place last night happen, then so be it. But just don't get in your car and drive home. You have these tools. The first question from Teresa, what Mike Vrabel answered very quickly of, yes, we will take care. We have ride shares. We have a program. Justin, both of us have been covering the team since I've been here.
Yeah.
That's always been in place. This is nothing new. Players and coaches have always had this availability, which is why I never give them any slack for when things like this happen, because if you can't be responsible enough when they are saying, we will come get you, we will take you home, would all of us have to do that, then I'm not going to give you any leeway when you're at that level, whether you're a player or a coach. You're high profile. Like, you need to do that. If it's you can do whatever you want. You are allowed to have too much to drink. It's okay. You're allowed to. You're just not allowed to get in your car and drive home.
Well said, Darren. This is where I'm coming from on this, and I'm going to dip back over into my news background as I would have to. If you watch me on television, you have seen me lately inside at the anchor desk and doing traffic reports and things like that. But before I did all of that, for years, I was outside. And let me tell you part of what I was doing outside. The person behind this microphone right now has spent a lot of time standing in the middle of interstates. Let me tell you why I'm standing in the middle of interstates. Because they're closed. Let me tell you why they're closed. Because people have gotten on them, sometimes going the wrong way, under the influence of alcohol, and have taken the lives of other people. I've seen the twisted metal and the crushed cars and the lost lives and the families of the people who are left behind as a result of these accidents. And they truly are just that. The people who were drunk behind the wheel had no intention of going out and hurting anybody 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100. But the problem is, and there's one case, and I will not call out names and do all that kind of stuff because all that's unnecessary. But there is one case I remember in particular where there was a driver who went the wrong way on I-65 and they hit and killed someone. And when they asked them about, well, don't you think you had a little bit too much to drink? The person told them, I thought I was riding home in the back seat of the car. I had no idea I was driving. Drunk driving is a serious thing, and it's treated sometimes as not such a serious thing because so many people do it and they do not get caught. Dozens of thousands of people do it, and dozens, hundreds, thousands of people do it every single night. They have DUI units scattered across the city designed to do nothing but arrest DUI, folks who are out there driving under the influence. That's all they do. Now, let's be fair for a moment. Secretary of State for the state of Tennessee was, caught for DUI and arrested for DUI at Bonnaroo. We've had former presidents of the United States at one point caught for DUI. We've had a lot of different people from all different walks of life caught for DUI. Do we cut them all? Do we fire them all? Do we say they're all worthless pieces of whatever? No. More times than not, they say, I'm sorry, and we all move on. I'm so thankful that no one got hurt last night in this situation. But I do want to just put this out there as a reminder of how absolutely dangerous and horrific these kinds of things can be, and life-shattering these things can be when people have too much to drink or what they believe to be an okay amount, enough to, just enough to get me home, buzz driving as they call it, to get home, and in reality they don't. And no one takes it seriously, unfortunately, a lot of times until something like this happens or until someone is hurt or is killed while involved in one of these situations here. I'm beyond thankful that no one was killed last night. And it's not just Mr. Downing. For Mr. Downing, I promise you, Darren, I promise you, and I can't prove it, but I promise you, while Mr. Downing was being arrested last night there on the side of the road on I-65, multiple people who had also been driving under the influence drove right past that state trooper while the arrest was happening. Guaranteed. And all of them went home. As far as we know, they made it safely. They slept it off. They woke up and went to work. It's just what it is. So, I don't know I'm curious to know what fans want to do with Todd Downing. And I've heard everything from fire him to, well, just forget it. It's fine.
Well, let's do that. We're wide open the rest of the hour. 615-844-5600. We'll take your phone calls on the other side as we continue on here on the McFarland Show. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7, with supplies and solutions for every industry, and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Steve is intrigued by the paranormal.
Otherworldly spirits really make a house a home, you know?
Janice has different taste.
I'd like my house to not be haunted.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Steve and Janice found a renovated Victorian that's only haunted from 9 to 5.
Okay, wife's home. I gotta bounce.
Bye, Steve.
Bundling without compromise at Geico.com.
If you need a staycation or planning a trip to Music City, stay at Bento Living Chestnut Hill. Voted the best boutique hotel in the city by the Nashville Scene. Bento Living is located on the edge of bustling downtown and boasts on-site dining, shopping, live entertainment on the rooftop, and free fitness classes. Come experience Nashville like a local. Visit BentoChestnutHill.com to book your Music City vacation today.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. The package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
It's the Bill King Show.
In Little League football, they play it off. You can't do it in college football, Bill. You got to come up with a bunch of computers and some BCS cockamamie scheme. My answer was yes. It's unique. Absolutely love it. I go into my garage every day and make sure there are no dust particles on those BCS computers. I do that.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Back here on the McFarland Show, 615-844-5600 is our number. You can get in touch with us. Talking about the Titans win in Green Bay last night. Talking about the unfortunate incident we learned about this morning concerning offensive coordinator Todd Downing. Let's go to the Cure Hotline. Let's go down to Columbia. Nate is standing by. Nate, what's up?
What's up, guys? I know this is kind of a somber situation, but I just wanted to let y'all know I'm not as riled up as I've been the past couple of days.
Really?
Yeah. I've been pretty calm. Plus, I'm getting ready to move tomorrow, so that'll
you
be fun.
You should be angry because moving sucks.
Moving is the worst.
The thing that I hate about moving the most is the packing and unpacking. I'm still a younger guy, so I don't mind having to move everything. If I could get someone to pack and unpack for me, that'd be great.
No doubt.
But
well, you can, by the way. You just have to pay lots of money to have them do it.
Yeah. I'd rather save up for a house than have someone else do that for me. But with the Downing situation, when Justin was just talking about how basically not everyone, a lot of people, thousands of people, it's not like 500,000 each day in Nashville, drive home under the influence. And it takes me back to a couple of times where you wake up the next morning and you're just thinking, how did I get home last night? I should not have been driving. Thankfully, nothing happens, but it just takes one time. Downing, I don't know. And I mean, obviously the reason we call in shows is to have discussions and to talk about what should, what shouldn't, what might happen, what, shouldn't happen. I don't know that I should really have an opinion on it, just because I don't. It's obviously for the league to decide, but I mean, he should be punished in some sort of way. Maybe not getting canned, probably getting suspended, maybe 3 games or something. Something that will hopefully wake him and the entire league up to the situation. But I mean, I'm sure you have people that drive under influence every day. They probably get arrested. They may get bailed out that night and go into work the next day, and they probably get a talking to if work finds out about it, but they might not get fired.
Yeah,
So,
because here's the difference, Nate, and I don't want to diminish, everybody out there, because everybody's life is important, and
without question,
it doesn't. You don't have, just because you're not famous doesn't mean what you do and who you are doesn't make you important. But the difference is when that does happen to everyday Joe, and whether let's just say work does find out. Well, they don't have to hold a press conference, and nobody knows. Yeah. The only people that know are the people that know them, right? There's not a press conference. It's not the top story on ESPN.com. This is the difference. Is Todd Downing is an offensive coordinator in the National Football League. He's one of 32 in the world. That's a big deal, and that's why I don't give him any slack, and that's why, to me, honestly, it angers me a little bit more, and I'm not willing to be light on him because he's got a greater responsibility than look, everybody should have responsibility when it comes to this, because Justin said it well. It's important, and you should be cognizant. Have we all done it? No, I'm not willing to cast a net. Have I, back in my 20s? Sure. Maybe even early 30s? Yeah, I did. And there's been times when I've left my car and been responsible. There's times when I didn't. Yeah. And I was lucky, right? And yeah, I'm shameful to admit it, but it's true, if I'm just going to be totally honest. But now I'm much older, and I don't do that stuff. I'm going to be responsible, and he's in his early 40s, and he's an offensive coordinator in the NFL, and he's got advantages that you and I don't have. We don't have a company that'll tell us. The last time I checked, WNSR has not told me, hey, if you go out and have too much fun, we'll come get you and take you home. I don't believe that policy is in effect where I work. They do. They have that luxury. And so you should...
Well, maybe you should call Justin and see if he'd be a good friend or coworker.
Well, Justin probably would, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it.
I would not do that to him. Darren. But I do want to ask this question of you, Nate, from Columbia, a man who lives here in Middle Tennessee and cares very much about the sports scene and the franchises here. I've heard your passion, sir, over the last 6 weeks. My question to you is this. Do you want this person, now that you know what you know about Todd Downing and this unfortunate decision that he made to do this, according to police, the journalist in me jumps out, according to police, do you want him or someone like him to be in this position of authority for a franchise that you invest your time and energy into?
Not if it's going to be a continuous problem, and we won't know until if he stays on and just basically having time go on.
That's interesting.
I mean, obviously he's not the best I don't want to say authority figure, but I guess role model to the players and obviously younger kids and high schoolers and all of that. But I mean, like y'all are saying, and a lot of people have been saying today, he made a mistake, and I mean, hopefully he'll learn from it. But I mean, I don't know that I would want to just see him fired unless it is strict in the NFL's policies that it specifically says there's no gray area, which, in the NFL there's always no gray area, right?
Hashtag sarcasm.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That it explicitly says these situations are an fireable offense.
I got you, Nate.
All right, Nate. Thank you for the call. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Yeah, I'm not saying one way or the other on what. Do I think he's gonna? I think Steve Lehman said he didn't believe he was going to get. I'd have to go back and listen.
No, that's what he said.
He did believe he was. He did not think he was going to get suspended.
He did not think he was going to get suspended.
I think he will. I think he is going to get suspended, and I think he should be suspended. I mean, he should.
I wonder.
Would a player get suspended? If this was a player we were talking about today.
Well, let me tell you what they do.
If
they would suspend them pending an investigation, and then the player might miss some time while the team looked into whatever it was.
Okay, so why wouldn't that be the case for a coach?
Who says it won't be?
Okay,
it possibly could be. I do wonder, and I do want to hear your opinion on this. And by the way, if you want to give us a call, 844-5600 is the Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. Darren, what if this was Derrick Henry? What if this was Mike Vrabel? Would your thought pattern about how to treat this be any different if this was a more high-profile player who was arrested for DUI overnight?
What if it was Ryan Tannehill?
What if it was Ryan Tannehill?
What if it was Traylon Burks celebrating his first big game as an NFL receiver?
Well, Traylon's not as large as those other folks we just named, but okay.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know. I mean, I don't think you're supposed to look at it any differently.
Oh, well, not supposed to, sure. I just wonder if the football team can carry on, a game without their offensive coordinator, and if they decide to do that. I just wonder how differently people feel about it if they felt like this person was really, really good. Because this is the unfortunate part about this. This is a situation where I feel that people are expressing their feelings based on how good this individual is at their job.
All right, so let me ask you something. This is, to me, the question. This is the question. For everybody out there, and you're allowed, everybody's entitled to their opinion. For everybody out there that is in the camp of, hey, you made a mistake, give him a break, you got to learn from it, you move on, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You made a mistake, okay? Move on. Okay? If you're in that camp, if the Titans lost 38-3 last night, would you still feel the same? Same thing happened, but they lost 38-3, and the offense was as bad as it's been all year. And there's been some bad games. It's as bad as it's been all year. 38-3. Do you still feel the same way?
I don't think they would.
I'm just telling you right now, I don't believe for a minute, because there's a lot of people, again, as I've said, that have taken this season out on the wrath right now, and a team that's 7-3 has been directed at one place and one place only, Todd Downing. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me in a 38-3 loss, the defenders today, after a huge win in Green Bay, would still feel the same way? No, I don't believe you.
And that's why I'm saying,
I believe you'd be like, get his ass out of here. Fire him. Get him out. Finally, now they've got a reason to get rid of him. That's what I believe everybody would be saying today. But instead, it's coming off this big, massive win in Green Bay, and everybody, it's softened the stance.
I think how a person does their job, unfortunately, plays a role into how people feel about this. Now, just because this is how people feel about it does not mean that the powers that be, whether it be the court system, or whether it be Amy Adams Strunk, or whether it be Roger Goodell in the league office, will decide to move that direction based on public opinion. But it is certainly a part of the equation, though, at least on this side of things, that the way you feel about this person determines how you react when that person does something wrong. And I think that plays a big part in this, unfortunately. And I don't think it should necessarily. I think everybody should be treated the same, but I also know life isn't fair and everybody's not treated the same.
So I would ask those people that were answering it honestly and they flipped the script and realized that their answer would be differently. Do you think that's right? Do you think that's the right approach? In a win, give him a break. Made a mistake. Back off. He'll learn from it. In a 38-3 loss, finally, now they've got a reason to get rid of this bum.
Yeah. What if it was Caleb Farley?
Right.
The first round potential bust here, who's hurt again. What if again, we're playing the what if game, everybody. I don't want there to be a misunderstanding.
Yeah, this is right. You hate throwing out names, but we're just trying to make a point.
Yeah. If it was somebody who was seen in a less positive light or did not have a great season or a great outing last night, would things be a little different now that they have done something like this?
He's literally coming off the best game he's called since he's been the offensive coordinator of the Titans.
This year at least. I don't know if he's had a better one, but certainly this year.
And I'm just asking you to be honest and say, would you really feel the same way if your stance today is, hey, you made a mistake, and that's fine. That's okay. You're allowed to have that opinion. Give him a break. He'll learn from it. Move on. Would your answer really still be that if they lost 38-3 last night and looked pathetic?
Yeah. Nate says that maybe he should be suspended 3 games. Okay. If Derrick Henry did this, and I know we don't like using names, but if one of the Titans' cornerstone players did this, would you want to suspend him for 3 games?
The most popular player on the team. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. Would you want to suspend him for 3 games?
You know the answer to that. No. Nobody's calling for him to get suspended.
But, listen, I got news for you. Whoever is behind the wheel of a car and is intoxicated can hurt someone just like anybody else, regardless of how good they are running the football or coordinating an offense. It makes absolutely no difference. You get behind the wheel of a car while you're impaired, you are putting yourself and countless other people at risk every single time. And it happens all the time. I know a lot of people under the sound of my voice have done it. I know you just admitted that you have done it as well at some point in your career. I can honestly say in my life, I've never done it. But, I don't consider myself some special person or anything because I can say that. It's just one of those things. But every single time, though, you could potentially hurt someone, and it could be, the consequences can be beyond words. And there's a lot of people who live with that grief to this very moment. There's some of you listening under the sound of my voice right now who've lost people because of things like this. And this is the part where sports and life intersect a little bit and things get real.
Yep. Well, and that's why you honestly should be even more mad at Todd Downing, because we're sitting here having to talk about this, but it needs to be discussed. It can't be overlooked. No, it can't be. And that's, you take away the biggest win of the season, and you take away everything that should be discussed today on Nashville airwaves, on Nashville sports radio, and we have to talk about this. That's the reason you should be even more mad at him being so incredibly irresponsible last night as a 42-year-old offensive coordinator in the National Football League, who has the ability to have someone take him home, whether it's someone from the plane or someone with the organization.
Yeah. He's surrounded by his co-workers there.
People that could have taken him home.
Easily.
And, oh, by the way, they're off today.
Easily.
So guess what? You can get somebody to come get your car, right, to take you to your car today because you're off today.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything. They're done. They're shutting it down. They're taking a break, and then they're going to pick it back up next week.
Yeah.
But instead, we have to talk about it. That we do. We have to talk about it. All right, we'll come back. More of the McFarland Show here on WNSR.
You know, now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Sign up with the promo code GregP. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. You can combine all of those across a variety of platforms with same-game parlays for a bigger payout. Live betting, you see a trend, something that's going on in a game, you can get updated odds on games that have already started and get you paid your winnings fast. All that on the app that's safe by using the promo code GregP. All that on the app. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose. Promo code GregP. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You got to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued non-withdrawable. Free bets that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, this message is for you. Congress has passed $80 billion in funding to more than double the size of the IRS. 87,000 new IRS employees means more audits, collections, and penalties. This will make the IRS larger than the Pentagon, State Department, FBI, and Border Control combined. Now is the time to call Civic Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Their tax resolution specialists can stop the IRS from taking money out of your paycheck.
With Civic Tax Relief, they were able to save me upwards of $80,000 that I would have had to pay.
For your free tax relief information, call now. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
800-841-0908.
Slim's Tender Mac Bowls are back. We start with a 3-cheese blend to make our delicious mac and top it with chopped hand-breaded tenders and Colby Jack cheese. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal, both served with Texas toast and a medium drink. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Hey, it's Sammy Kincaid, host of Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid. Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, listen in as I highlight women in sports from high school to the pros, athletes and administrators. And you know what? Let's talk some ball with women covering the game across the country. Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid is every Saturday morning. Listen in on Nashville Sports Radio from 9 to 10 a.m.
So it took Taylor Swift to get Ticketmaster in trouble, huh?
How about that?
All the shenanigans that have happened over the years, it took Taylor Swift to finally get somebody, was it the Attorney General, involved?
In case you missed it, coming from the New York Times, the United States Department of Justice has now opened up an antitrust investigation into the owner of Ticketmaster, who has the sale of the Taylor Swift tickets descend into chaos a little bit earlier this week. They are focused on whether or not Live Nation has abused its power over the live music industry. Again, that's about an hour or so ago from the New York Times. That's coming out.
What do you think will happen?
That's a great question. They're going to look into it, but whether or not anything will come of it depends on what they find and how soon they find it. It's interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. But, you know, you called for it earlier this week, and I know people who are listening to us, you know, a lot of you have been trying to buy these Taylor Swift tickets for your daughter, for your wife, for your mom, for whoever wants to go. And you haven't been able to get them because it's been chaos on the internet trying to get through for Taylor Swift tickets. And the tickets have ballooned to tens of thousands of dollars to go watch Taylor Swift, you know, do her thing. And, you know, at some point, the consumer protection folks have to get involved and go, okay, seriously. This can't go on. And that's kind of where we are.
I haven't been given clarification. Is the tour canceled?
No, the tour isn't canceled. Just
the sale to the public.
The sale of the tickets
has been canceled.
Because, it wasn't like she was going to start tour tomorrow. The tour was going to be much later. They released...
or the shows here. Have they been canceled?
No, not to my knowledge. They
haven't. So it's just about public sale.
Yeah, we got to get these tickets out.
Okay. Because we had a whoopsies. We gave away too many?
I don't... How we got to this point, I'm not even sure anymore. Honestly. How we got all the way here to where this became a literal federal investigation is just wild. Ticketmaster, they last put out a statement. Let's see. This was a little while ago here. Yesterday. Saying that, because of the high ticket demands, there's insufficient tickets remaining because of the low inventory. And because of that, the public on sale ticket release has been, canceled.
To be continued.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
So when Tony called in, I said, I'm sitting there laughing at the television going, this is definitely going to be a direct snap. Like Ryan Tannehill is not confused and not really having a conversation with the sidelines. I knew exactly what was coming. Did you have that feeling? Did you know what was coming?
No.
Or were you just like, what's going on? Because we've seen this before.
It was obvious to me that Ryan was acting. That much was.
Then why wouldn't you think that was what was going to happen?
But why he was acting, like where the ball was going. I mean, there was an inkling in my mind, but by the time I thought about it, it had already happened. It was one of those situations. It was one of those situations that I said, they're trying something here. And by the time I thought about it, it had already happened. And that's what I'm saying. The play worked because if it was 4th and 1, he would have never made it.
Barely.
But because it was 4th and inches.
Yeah, barely.
And again, 4th and inches, Derrick Henry did not give them a chance.
Which means Green Bay wasn't fooled at all.
No. He decides, you know what? Fine. We're just going to go Superman right here and get this thing done. And he got it done.
Yeah, I would say, look, it worked last night, but I'm just telling you from an observer, if I know that, they all know that. So it's probably a play that needs to be scrapped.
Now,
it just doesn't work because we've seen it so many times over the years.
Speaking of something we've seen so many times.
Jump pass.
The jump pass.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if people's memory is fuzzy or something, talking about they've never seen that before. Actually, if you've been watching, you've seen it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I can name at least 2 other occasions right off the top of my head where we have seen it. The Kansas City game from last year, and of course the infamous game against the Patriots, right? In the playoffs. Against the Ravens. Ravens or Patriots? I think it was the Ravens.
I don't remember.
One of the playoff games in 2019 when he did it. So he's done it quite a bit. It's nice to have, and you really got to set it up well, which they have done. I think he even failed at it one time, didn't he? Didn't he, throw an interception one time or come close to it on one of those? I mean,
it's a play that has a very high success rate. Let's just say that.
If you set it up correctly and if it's run at the right time.
Well, I mean, Tim Tebow certainly. Is he the godfather of it?
Of that particular pass, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't he the jump pass? Isn't he the one that really...
Yeah, that's right.
Put it on the big stage and the bright lights?
Yes.
Okay. He had good success rate.
He was also a quarterback.
Yes. Yes, he was.
That also kind of helps
is
a
that
little bit.
distinction.
Yeah, there's that.
Yes.
He also was a quarterback.
Yes.
So, and it's great that they ran it, and it's cute, and it works, and people were saying, the Titans' wrinkles looked good last night. Let me tell you why they look good. They look good because they worked.
Yeah.
They tried some wrinkles last week and the
they
week
didn't
before.
work. The
and
one
they
with
didn't
Malik
work.
Willis was no
That
good.
was a wrinkle the same way the direct snap last night was a wrinkle, or the jump pass is a wrinkle. Same thing, just different results. When it works, it's beautiful. When it doesn't, you're ready to fire people.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's step away for Final time, back to wrap up Friday's edition of the McFarland Show next.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Greg Pogue back once again to tell you about Bongo Java, Nashville's oldest and most celebrated coffee company, now also located in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Reward yourself for surviving Nashville traffic with fresh, locally roasted coffee, classic handcrafted espresso drinks, and fresh baked goods all day long. And free Wi-Fi, so you don't have to work from home. Number 1 in customer service. You made it through the traffic. Reward yourself with a perfect pick-me-up at Bongo Java. Fresh coffee, delicious treats, great atmosphere. Open 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. daily. Bongo Java at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Get all your NASCAR news every weekday right here on the Final Lap. Hey, it's Kerry Murphy, and NASCAR is going to have a float in the Tournament of Roses parade. There was racing this past weekend, the Fall Brawl, and we have the final Cup Series standings for 2022. So, grab all the latest NASCAR news, driver interviews, stats, and info every single weekday right here. And check out our NASCAR talk show called The Final Lap Weekly, wherever you get your podcasts. Every single weekday right here.
The pictures are circulating in Buffalo.
Mercy.
And a lot of times we say, meteorologists, it's hit or miss. You never know. They miss a lot. They didn't miss in Buffalo.
No, they did not.
And the snow didn't miss either. The pictures are out. Orchard Park. What is the stadium name now?
Highmark Stadium,
sure.
I believe.
Yeah, for today. Highmark is buried. It is white, and it is buried in snow. And looking at the pictures today, I think they made a pretty good decision.
Yep.
To go to Detroit.
I agree. No business playing in this type of, here's the deal. Certain things change, certain things don't. I know a lot of people don't feel like we should have to, kowtow to some of the changes that have happened here. But in 2022, do we really need to sit in 6 feet of snow just to prove that we can do it?
By the way, Devlin, if you're watching our feed, you can watch us every day on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Mercy.
Devlin is scrolling through pictures of Highmark Stadium, which right now looks like low mark because you can't see anything other than just piles and piles and piles of snow. To answer your question, Justin, no, you do not.
Like, the Ice Bowl, the infamous Ice Bowl between the Packers and the Cowboys that everybody makes reference to. And you can see all the nostalgia and the Bart Starr and that game, I forget the exact temperature, but the temperature was horrific. Do we need to do that? Like, if that game happens today, do we still need to go out there and play that game like that in that kind of condition?
You're asking me, Mr. Roof Guy? Really?
I'm sorry, I forgot what I was talking
about. I mean, really?
I'm sorry. So for Darren,
and by the way, I've been out in the element games. I've been in Cleveland. I've been in Cincinnati. I've been in Buffalo. I've been out in the elements when it's bad.
Ugh.
I was in Foxborough in 2003, Patriots Titans, when it was minus 38 wind chill.
Yeah.
No, the answer is no. No. And it doesn't make it cool. Like that, not to me. There's nothing cool about it.
Nothing cool being out.
Like cool as in, not temperature-wise, but cool as in,
It's not cool being out there minus 38 with the wind blowing.
No, and of course
it's not real football.
The one dude in the entire stadium, at Gillette Stadium at the time, I don't know if it's still called Gillette.
I think so.
He had his shirt off, and of course he made the Jumbotron.
Sure.
And that's cool, right? No, it's not. Because what I said is, I wish they would do the follow-up story to see if he's still alive in 3 days. Or did he die of pneumonia? Now, let's do that. Because while everybody cheered then, what was life like for that guy 3-4 days later? Was it still cool?
Was it really worth it?
Was he still getting high fives?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know
about that either.
I don't know. Nice win by the Preds last night.
Yes.
5-4 over the Islanders. Man, they had to hang on for dear life. They were in control of that game, and they had to hang on, man. The Islanders would not go away. Nice win by them. 3 in a row.
Fantastic. Nice way to respond after this disappointing road trip that they had. The home cooking so far, it is working for them. And they still have a few more games left here. So this is fantastic. They can really make up some ground here. They keep going at this rate.
Parsonen, 2 more goals. 3-point night.
Yeah.
I think this is, what was that? Is that his third game? Third NHL game? Fourth NHL game? His 3 goals? 4 goals? I mean, he's tearing it up.
Yeah.
He's got 3 goals. Continues to be a pretty cool story.
Yeah. No, an awesome story for the Predators. They needed somebody to step up and really give this team a jolt. And, if it's him or whoever else it needs to be. I'm sure they'll take more volunteers, more goals, please. Thank you. More W's, please. Thank you.
What's your upset this weekend? Saturday. What's your upset?
I
need the upset. I've got one.
An upset for Saturday.
Yeah.
That is tough. Let's see. Is it possible for Vandy to do it again?
Beat Florida?
Yeah. I mean, it's a home game. They're riding high. Listen, they played Ole Miss well for half. I will say it's possible for Vandy to get Florida sleeping this weekend. So there we go. Putting that out there.
I guess anything is possible.
Yes.
But are you calling your shot?
Sure.
You're calling it?
Sure.
Vandy beats Florida.
Vandy and Mike Wright take it to Florida.
Wow. Okay. I like that. Mine is going to be on a little bit smaller scale, but it will have big implications that we'll talk about on Monday because you'll be able to scratch the Trojans of USC.
It's that weekend,
off the list.
It's that weekend.
UCLA beats USC. Head to FanDuel now. Bet the Bruins. Take the points and bet the Bruins.
The Bruins get off the mat.
Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you Monday. Afternoon Stretch is next.